iOS has liquid glass, but Android does it better. Let me show you. On the tablet and on the phone. It now comes with spatial wallpapers which are calculated on device without the need of any internet connection. So let me show you how to set it up. अच्छा करता रहूं. So there is a tutorial already on the YouTube about this app, but there has been a lot of changes in terms of the user interface. I have also added the gradings, so when you enter the app, you will be welcomed with the initial steps that you can follow in case you are missing the tutorial. And also when you go to the edit mode, there are instructions there as well. So let's get started. First, let me just uninstall this app so that both of us are on the same page. I'll just go ahead and uninstall the app. Also, there is a beta channel which will get you the latest features first. So you can also opt in. For that, you just need to send me your email IDs and I will add you. Now we will go to the Play Store. I'm going to search for True Liquid Glass. And then let me download that app. And it works on tablets as well. It will provide you separate layouts for portrait orientation and for the landscape orientation. And it works on foldables as well. It can detect that it is your inside screen or your outside screen. And you can set up different orientation or different shapes on both of those screens. And again, on portrait and landscape orientation. So this video will have 3 options. 1, for setting up the app and all the shapes on your home and lock screen. 2nd, to get the app icon transparent on your Pixel. And 3rd, to get the same on your Samsung device. Now first, I have installed the app. Now I'm going to open it and then let's see what will happen. So it gives you a warning in case you have downloaded it from a pirated site. You just need to email me and I will provide you a promo code. I do not want you to pirate the app. Simply just, if you can support me, then you can download it. Otherwise, I will provide it for free. Now you need to give this permission. First is the display permission because it will help us in setting it up on the home screen and lock screen. So we can just grant the permission. It will take you to the settings. You can turn on allow always display over the other apps. Now go back. It will ask you to add the battery optimization as unrestricted. So you also need to allow that. And then it will give you 8 options. It will just make you go through different settings of the app. So first one is the live preview. You can tap anywhere. Otherwise, you can, if you have already gone through all of these tests and you know what you're doing, then you can simply tap on the skip button. So I will just quickly go through all of these. Now it will make you land on the setup page. And on there you will see there are quick start options. First one is the pick a wallpaper below. So by default it comes with the TLG's wallpaper and 2 shapes. So if you want, then you can apply that. Otherwise, when you scroll at the bottom, you will see all of these options. Now in these options, you can either select a single image, you can select a wallpapers folder, you can even select a video. And if you have selected a wallpaper folder, then you can also view wallpaper folder images and then you can select from them. Otherwise, a new feature also has been added that from any app, if you share a single or a number of images, then they will be added to this wallpaper folder. And then there is an option, add shared images to existing folder. So when you turn it on, irrespective of whatever wallpaper folder you have selected already, it will add the new images into that wallpaper folder. So you can keep on increasing your collection of images. Now these are the images options. Let's see, the second step is tap apply wallpaper to go live. Now I'm going to apply the wallpaper, then set wallpaper. You don't need to do anything on this screen, just set it on the lock screen and home screen. And the third step is enable the edit layout to move shapes. So right now, if I go on the home screen, you will see The wallpaper is applied and it has both the shapes, but we cannot do anything about it. So let's see how we can set it up. We go to the setups option. We turn on edit layout on home screen. Now when you first go to the editing layout, it will give you 12 steps how to go through all of these options. But if you already know them, then you can just press on skip. Otherwise, these are just small steps. These are very intuitive. You just need to see what the each button do, and if you are in any confusion, then you can just tap and hold on that button and it will give you a little highlight, or you can say tooltip. So right now it says editing home. That means you are editing the home screen. For some reason you cannot edit the lock screen while on the lock screen because it is not a system-wide thing. So for that, when you tap on the edit lock, it will go to the editing lock screen. As you can see, now we are editing the lock screen. But to make things easy, I will just close it. I will lock my phone. Now I will take a screenshot of the lock screen. It will come handy later on. So now I will just go back to the app. I will tap on edit layout on home screen. I have two shapes. I will select the shape 1. Now in the editing log, there are two options. One is the layout, second is the visuals. In the layout, you will see the shape numbers. You can select them by tapping on 1, 2 or whatever number of shapes you have. Then there is grid snap. Grid snap is how much the shape moves with your finger based on the number. So right now it is set at 10. So it will move 10 pixels in any direction. So if I increase it to, let's say, 80, so it will snap after 80 pixels in each direction. Now if I go to 0, it will be very smooth. And it will also provide you this feedback that the shape wobbles and it feels like it is actually liquid. Now let's set it back to, let's say, 10. Now there are resize options. For simplicity, there is just a single button. The bottom left point is the anchor, and then you can resize using the resize button. But if you want to go advanced, you want that pixel perfection, you just need to tap on the resize symbol button. It will go to the advanced mode. Now it is very easy to do. You just need to drag these edges. But if you want finer movement, then you can tap on those edges. It will give you a plus and minus option, and then you can increase the edge based on whatever number you have selected on the grid snap. So let's say if I increase it to 80, and if I press plus, it will increase by 80 pixels each time I am tapping on plus or minus. And if I tap it to, let's say, 1 or 2, now I get very fine or minute movement in that edge. So you can align very precisely. The next option is the panel mode. So right now the shape is in panel mode. That means the horizontal and vertical width or width and height of the shape are independent of each other. But if I tap on that, it will become an icon. Now it remains a square with certain roundness. No matter how much I increase or decrease, it is going to be a square. So first let's just add a dock. So I will just tap on the shape and now I can freely move it around. And you can see the beautiful wobble effect that is there. Anyway, there are certain buttons below the resize and mode panel icon buttons. There are the undo and redo on the left hand side. There is the next and previous arrows. So it comes in handy when you have selected a lot of images for the wallpaper folder. So you can simply tap on these to change the wallpapers. Then there is a plus button to add a shape. There is a copy button to duplicate the shape. There is a minus button to delete the shape. Now if you go to the visuals tab, you can see there is a roundness option. There is a roundness option. Right now it is selected as local. You can tap on the text, so it will change to global. So let's say I have two shapes. Now both of those shapes will change the radius simultaneously. But if I tap on the local, then only the roundness or radius of that shape will change. Now there is a visible toggle. So it can hide the shape in case you are editing a lot of shapes and one shape is coming or hindering your experience, then you can simply hide it for a while. Now there is the scroll option. So let's say you are having a 2-page setup, then you can simply tap on the empty area it will hide the edit menu for a while, and then you can swipe. Because there is a overlay menu, it will not allow you to swipe on the launcher, so we need to hide that first. So right now, alright, my bad, I was editing the lock screen option, so let me just edit the home screen ones. So when I tap, because the lock screen shapes will not swipe because there is a single page on the lock screen. So when I am on the home screen, I can simply tap and swipe. Now let's just place the first image at the place of the dock. I will just drag and try to match the bottom left corner, and then I can resize using the top right button. And now I can go to the visuals tab, change the roundness to local, and then I will try to match it. So something like this. And there is also snap option, so it will snap based on the horizontal and vertical middles of your screen and based on the centers and edges of different shapes. So setting up of the dock is done. Now we need to set up the individual icons so that they can behave as the background for those icons. Now I need to add another shape. I will just go and tap on plus. I need to convert that to the icon, so I will tap on mode panel to convert it to the mode icon. Now I can resize, and the best part is you can place these icon shapes on top of the panel shape. Now I can see that if you are into this, like if you want the shapes to be round, then just leave it as it is. Otherwise, I will just reduce the roundness, something like that. And then you can simply go there and place the shape. And now you can make duplicates of this shape because the icons are going to be same for all the shapes. Then just duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Because it cannot know what the grid size of the launcher is, so it will just have some predetermined value for those intervals of the duplication. I can simply then drag the shape just a little so that it is on the center of the icon. Now I can also drag this another shape, something like that, maybe a little more, and then the last one as well, something like that. Now you will see the shape is not aligning for the Chrome icon. So what I will do is I will go to the layouts tab, to the advanced resize option, and there's a thing with the panels when they are the icons. So when you change the shape of any edge when the mode is icon, then because it has to stay square, so it will keep the opposite edge as the anchor and it will increase the size like that. So if I do the same thing with the right edge, then the left edge will remain same, and same with the left edge. So what you can do is you can increase in one direction and decrease in another direction, because I can see the shape behind the Chrome icon is a little bit towards the left. So what I need to do is I need to reduce the grid snap size, and then I can simply add a little bit and reduce a little bit in the opposite direction. So very precisely you can align the shapes. Now since all of these are done, I will just make a duplicate of this icon, and then I will drag it on these icons. So something like that. I can see it is a little bit upward. So what I can do is I can move it 2 steps down. So it has increased the size. Now I need to reduce it in the opposite direction. So for the top edge, 2 minus taps. Now we can see it is perfectly aligned. I will make some duplicates, and then you must have seen the last duplicate was on the other side, because otherwise it would have gone towards the right side of the edge and it would be hard to manually drag it. So just for that. Now you can see the drag lines or the snap lines when you're dragging it. So based on that, you can easily snap these shapes, because we have spent the time for setting up the bottom icons. And now for the second shape, you can either delete it or you can take it to the next page. Now similarly for the widget. And also the overlay UI does not work when the shape goes behind the status bar. So that's why the overlay menu remains on the workable area. So you can see, or this thing, the overlay menu, it just stays there below the status bar so that it does not clip. Since all of these shapes are done, we can move to setting up the background of the widgets. And you can do so with using the similar methods that we saw on the first page. So something like that. And also because the shape is partially behind the status bar, the close or the delete button and the resize button are on the bottom side. So you can simply do something like that. And then you can change the roundness like that. Now you must have seen that all of those dog icons and the background panel has gone towards the left side. So for that, what you can do is you can tap on those icons and you see this scrolls button. So that means the shapes are scrolling with the swipe. So you can tap on them so the shape is pinned. And keep in mind, this is the natural scrolling that mostly all the launchers support, but some launchers such as One UI or the Nothing OS, and I think some Oppo, Vivo phones, they do not support natural scrolling. So in that case, what you can do is you can turn on simulated scrolling in the setups page inside the app, and then it will behave similarly. It will not be very accurate because we are just trying to simulate the scrolling behavior, and the launcher does not share any data. So we cannot make it match one-to-one. So it is just a simulation of the scrolling. Anyway, we can simply make all of these shapes as pinned. And now since all of these are using the global radius, so I can simply change them at any time for all of these shapes. Now this is done. So you can see it has messed up the corner radius of the widget, so we can simply just make it a local roundness. That's all. Now let's go back to the app. Let's select a wallpapers folder. So select wallpaper folder. I have this folder of the images. I'm going to use that. Allow. And now you can see you can swipe left and right, or you can tap on the left and right buttons so the images changes. And you can also view the wallpaper folder. It will open up a gallery view. You can see in that. And now if you do not like any of the images here, you can simply tap on the image and remove that. It will not delete the shape from your original folder. It is just deleting from the preview. And also, if you go back, add shared images to existing folder, it is turned on. So doesn't matter if I share more images to this app from any app, it will add to the existing gallery. And now let's say if I like this one, the same image that I showed earlier, and now I can simply tap on yes, and it will be changed. And now if you prefer blurred lock screen, then you can turn this on, otherwise let it be. And it can also support separate lock screen and home screen wallpapers. For that, you just need to turn on the separate lock screen wallpaper. Now you can toggle between the home screen and lock screen shapes. And you can do the same thing by tapping on the lock button. Now there is I button, that is just for the guidelines. It will just open the guideline again. Now let's go back to the glass option. It is for the visual quality of the glass. Now if it lags when you are not using the parallax option, and even then it lags, then you just need to turn on the wallpaper quality. So it will be a bit better. I'm not saying that it will not lag. On the lower end phones, it will lag because it is using live blur, it is using all these refractions, and all of these are very expensive on the GPU and CPU. So it is better that you do not add a lot of shapes on the home screen. Alright. Lock screen, I also need to select the wallpapers folder because it is only using a single image. Okay, it comes with 3 themes, that is the liquid glass, frosted glass, and material 3. So let's go with the liquid glass because that is why you're here. And now you can see the glass look. Automatically will change based on the light mode and the dark mode. Then you can select light, you can select dark, and you can select tint. Tint option, it will match the wallpaper's colors. So on every swipe or every change of the image, you can see it changes with the color option. And also there is one more, change system wide colors. So if you're using, let's say, AOSP based ROMs or pixel based ROMs that are not heavily modified, so it will also change the system color when you lock and unlock next time. So let's say if I just lock and unlock, you can see the system wide color are now using green based on the wallpaper. And now you can also choose the choose color option. You can override this color as well based on however you want to look. Or you can have separate colors for the panels and for the icons by using this option. So you can select panel color, let's say something like that, and icon color. Now there is panel opacity. All of these options are same as they were on the previous releases. There is one more option, contrast boost, just to increase the contrast of the glass shapes. Then there is rim light strength, the rim light on the edges of the shape. There is rotation, there is glass blur. So all of these are pretty self-explanatory, but if you need to know more about them, you can tap on the I button. So you can tap on the I button. And if you want to reset, you can tap on the reset button. Now these are for the refractions, refraction width, how much you want. Then the chromatic aberration. And the corner radius, you may not have to change it over here. And then there is the merge distance. In case you want to merge these shapes to make a new shape, then you can select that. Now let's go to the layouts tab. In here you can add a clock. Yes, it supports the liquid glass clock now. So you can turn on show clock. It will add on the home screen or whichever screen preview you have on. Now you can go to the lock screen as well, and then you can turn on over there as well. And now you can switch between the horizontal and vertical clocks using the button. So you can say horizontal, and now you can change the clock to horizontal or vertical, and both the clocks on the lock screen and home screen work separately. You can make it a 24 hours clock. You can even hide the initial 0 just before the hour when in case it is from 0 to 9. Then you can also have separate refraction settings for the clock. And in the future releases, I am thinking to separate the blur for the clock as well. And then you can also have a separate color for the clock. So let's say if you want to make it like some accent type of color, then you can do so. And then the colors, clock colors opacity. Now also the clock supports any custom OTF or TTF font. So some are pre-installed. Otherwise you can select a single file, or you can select a wallpaper, or you can select a fonts folder. So I already have a fonts folder with me in the custom directory. So I am simply going to select that. Now it will take a while to load all the fonts. Now you can simply drag or tap on left right. So let's say something like that. Let's see, tall 6. I think this one looks fine. And now you can change the size of the position by going to the edit menu. So I am on the home screen. So let's just simply, also you can stretch the font, but there is no need, because if you have a font that is already stretched, it is going to look much better. So let's say something like that. Now we can go back, because both the clocks are separated, so we can have different fonts for both the clocks on the lock screen and on the home screen. So let me change a different font for the home screen clock. I think tall font looks nice, or maybe tall 2. Yeah, this is nice. I can place it somewhere here. Now on the lock screen I can place it, let's say somewhere here. Also because we have taken a screenshot initially, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that image. I will go to recents and I'm going to select that image because it is the lock screens image. And now simply I can use that image to set up my lock screens elements. So let's say I just minimize the edit menu. I can place the shape over here, and it will help if you reduce the blur and refraction. So let me just go back to the app, reduce blur, reduce refraction, then go to the edit mode again. And now you can simply align all the shapes on your lock screen. So let's say something like that. And now I can align my clock somewhere here. And let's say I just add a shape behind the fingerprint sensor like that. And now I can simply open the images and select the docs image again. And also don't forget to change back the glass blur and refraction settings. So I can lock and I can unlock. So you can see all of those elements are set up properly on the lock screen and on the home screen as well. And it beautifully transitions from lock to home screen. And now, if you have a lot of setups, then you can export them into a single folder. And then you can also select the layouts folder. So I already have a lot of layouts built in that I have made using the testing of the app. So I can just go to that folder and I can simply use this folder. Now, based on the layouts or number of layouts that you have, it will take that much time to load all of them. Now you can simply swipe between these layouts and it will give you a live preview. So for Nova Launcher, I already have this layout. So for this particular wallpaper, instead of tint, the light one works much better, and I can simply reduce the transparency a bit. And now you can see we have successfully created the initial layout that I showed you earlier, but it is still lacking something, that is the parallax mode. So let's go to the motions tab. In here you will find the animation related settings, all of those sliders. Now if you see that when I'm swiping, in some cases it is possible that the icon and the shape behind it, it is now not aligning properly, as you can see in the calendar and Microsoft 365 Copilot. So in that case, I need to increase or decrease the page swipe offset. So that is how much the shapes are swiping, because it is kind of different for each launcher. So you'll have to mix and match that. So that something like that, it works for Nova Launcher. And now squash and stretch is for the editing when you are swiping the shapes. The return home bounce is when you're returning to the home, how much the shapes bounce back. If you reduce it, then it is going to be a simple, smooth transition. And then the unlock speed scale, that is from lock screen to home screen animation. If you make it 0, then it will be a snap. If you increase it, then it is going to be very slowly. And then the overall animation duration. Now for some launchers such as Nova Launcher or Launcher, they simply wait for the launcher to set up and then they will make the transition between the lock and the home screen. In that case, you can use the fast unlock button. But it will kind of interfere if you have a face unlock turned on, because it is just checking for the biometrics. So if you have a face unlock and you are still on the lock screen, then it is going to change the lock to home screen. In that case, you just need to disable the fast unlock. But I don't use face unlock, so I can simply turn it on. You don't have to do this in Pixels because they already support the fast unlock method in their launcher. Now let's talk about the parallax effect. So when you turn it on, you can see it is only panning around in the 2D direction in X and in Y. So what we need to do to make it 3D, and also there is an option to only on rim light, so it will only change the rim light, similar to how iOS does it. But I like more. So what you can do is you can download the depth parallax model. It is around 25 to 30 MB. It will be saved in your device, and all the calculations for the depth map are going to be offline and on your device. We are not collecting any data. So when you turn it on for the first time, it will ask you to download the model. So you simply press download. It will take a while to start the download, and it will download the model, and then it will save it in your app's storage. And every time you change the image, just make sure you reset the depth map, because it does not do it automatically. It is a bit resource consuming, or much better would be just to turn it off when you're swiping between the images and then turn it on again. So it will just calculate the depth map. And then there are two options, preview depth map and invert depth map. These are just for the debugging options. You don't have to mess around them. And then to save battery, there is an option of 3D parallax only on the lock screen. So you can turn that on as well. Now, if you feel like the motion is not much, then you can increase the depth strength and parallax sensitivity. And also, if I go to the lock screen preview, you can see the clock. It works in 3D. It can actually go behind the foreground. So based on the depth slider, the clock will hide away on parts of the image. So let's say if I'm using something like this, or let's say something like this, and I turn on the depth map calculation, I can see it has calculated the depth map. Oh my bad, the only on rim lights was on, and I was getting confused why isn't anything moving. All right, so you can see the intensity is quite high, so I can simply reduce that. And now, based on where the clock is, the motion will depend on that. So in case of a scenery, if the clock is on the extreme foreground, then the entire background will move. But if the clock is in the background, then the foreground will move. And if the clock is somewhere in the middle, then the foreground will move separately from the background, like a parallax effect, more prominent parallax effect. So let's see. I think this looks nice. So I'll just turn on the depth parallax. Now you can see, based on where the clock is, and if I reduce the clock to make it go behind the bench, now the entire foreground moves. And if I make it in the foreground, something like that, then the entire background moves. So you can make it match how you like it. So something like that looks nice, I guess. And on the home screen, something like this. All right, that is pretty much it about the app. It is very simple once you get used to it. That's why it will lag. It will lag on lower end phones, but it works fine on mid end or upper end phones. And you can see that's how it looks on the home screen and lock screen. Now the main thing is, because you cannot change the icon pack on the Pixel launchers. So what you need to do is, let me just change back from Nova to Pixel launcher. I will go to the settings, apps, and let me just change the default app to Pixel launcher. Now let's say I'm talking about the Reddit icon. So there is no option to change the icon pack. What I need to do is, I need to add a widget. I have created some widgets from KWGT. So I'm only going to add a 1:1 KWGT widget. So something like that. Now I'm going to click on that to edit. And all of these files are available for free on the Telegram channel. I will put the link in the descriptions down below. You can use all of those widgets to set things up. Now in the library, what I need to do is, I need to search for app. Yeah. I also have these PNG for different apps, or you can also get these PNGs from the icon pack from the Play Store or from the icon pack studio. So when you go to the globals option, let me just save it first. So you can see there is the transparent background. and when you tap on it, it will open up the Reddit. Now I can simply go to KWGT again. I can edit this icon. When you go to the shortcuts, you can choose whichever app you want to open when you tap on it. Otherwise, when you are inside on the globals, you need to go to the icon grid first. Now here, when you go to the globals, you can pick an image. This is the icon 1. Now you can pick whichever icon you want on place of the Reddit. And then you can also change the text. Now simply it is the 4th one, so whatever name you want, Reddit latest is just an example. And then you can save. Now it will be saved as Reddit latest. And now in the app, let me just open a pixel related layout so that it can match. Now over here, what I can do is I can go to the edit mode and simply what we were doing initially in the Nova launcher. I just need to add a shape, or better, I can simply copy one shape and place it behind the icon. Just like that. And it is done. So you can, using this method, you can get a single transparent icon so that it works for the pixel launcher. And there are a lot of options as well. They are mostly for the grid ones. So instead of that, you can also do is place a 4x4 widget for the KWGT. Let's say it's a 2x3. So now it's a 4x3 and now it's a 4x4. And now in here, I can simply add an entire 4x4 app grid. So app shortcut, TLG app icon. Yes, TLG app grid advanced. It already has a 4x4 grid, so you can simply save it. Now it will give you this 4x4 grid of the icons, and all of those apps, they will open when you tap on them. Now let's say how you can edit that. So you can simply go to the globals. You can increase or decrease the icon size. You can increase or decrease font size, the icon color, the font of the icon's text, horizontal gap, vertical gap, gap between icon and text. So all of those small improvements or small changes are theirs. You can mix and match based on whichever launcher you are using. Now shadow size, like how much shadow you want, the opacity of the shadow. If you want more prominent shadow, you can increase it. If you want very subtle, then you can decrease it. Now number of rows, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Number of columns, 4, 3, 2, 1. So even using this, you can have multiple grid options. And now all of these icons or text you can change just below the column setting. So app 1, app 2, app 3, app 4, app 5, app 6. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. So just like that, you can add the app grid. And that's pretty much it about the pixel. Now the third part, let's talk about how you can change these icons on a Samsung tablet. So you must have heard about the theme park. If you have not, it is an option or it is an app that comes with the Good Lock. So if your phone does not support Good Lock, then you can install the Fine Lock option. So you need to go to the theme park. I'll just wrap it up quickly. You go to the icons, you create a new icon pack, and now in the effects, you need to go to the glass, just reduce the edge, reduce the light, and change the glass color to white with zero transparency. So it will just remove the background elements of that icon. But now it will do it for all the icons. What you need to do is, you need to change that back to basics. Now you see this plus icon over here. You can click that And now here individually you can change the icon shape. So let's say the first one, that is the phone, or maybe something else. Let's do with the Chrome. So the Chrome's icon is over here. You can tap on that. You can edit icon, go to the effects, choose the glass, reduce edge, reduce light, and change the glass transparency to 0. And now you can also change the icon color to white. So something like that you can achieve. But if you want a colored icon without the background, then you don't need to change the icon color. And that's it. When you go back, you just edits are applied, so apply OK. Now you can see the Chrome's icon has changed. Now I just need to save this. Let's say white. So once it is saved, you just need to tap on it and apply. Now you can see on the home screen, the Chrome's icon has changed. Only demerit with the theme park is it will also change the app icon in your app grid. Other than that, you can simply use a different launcher maybe, such as Nova Launcher, Smart Launcher, Octopi, or Total Launcher, Launcher. All of these are supported, Smart Launcher. So now let's just quickly see the simulated scrolling option. In the setup page, there are scrolling compatibility. It is experimental because we cannot actually match the physics of the launcher because it does not share any data, and it is very difficult to match it visually. So you just need to match the number of pages you have on the launcher. So I have 2 pages. I will change the page count to 2. So I will change the page count to 2. Swipe threshold, that is for how much swipe. If you're facing like you're swiping away and the page changes but the background does not change, then you may have to increase or decrease based on what is happening. And also the swipe velocity. And if you're using the loop page, that is when you're on the 3rd page and you swipe again and it goes to the 1st page, then turn on the infinite scroll. So in that case, this is how it works for me, and this is how it looks. I will also show you the lock screen. So that's how the lock screen looks. Now it can be a bit laggy on the mid or lower ranges phones. Then what you can do is you can simply turn on the 3D parallax on lock screen only, and you can also reduce the chromatic aberration and merge distance to make it even faster and reduce the wallpaper quality just a bit. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or if you have any doubts, just go to the Telegram channel or the Telegram group. You can ask me, or there are a lot of people who are ready to help you in case you want some help. And on that, there are different topics. There is a setups page. You can find previous setups, shared files, wallpapers, widgets, all of that in that, and just explore around. And a lot of features are also coming in the future updates. So let's see how that goes. All right. Happy editing. Thank you so much. कुछ